Week 8, day 3. And we're talking about self-respect this week. Now, self-respect is the verb that really changes your self-image. If you don't like yourself or you don't think highly of yourself, or this portrait that's been painted in your mind by other people, when you're 22 months old, all the neurons in your brain are formed. From that day forward, everything said about you, said to you, changes, puts another stroke on that portrait you have in your mind. If you don't like that self-image, that self-portrait, the way to improve it is by improving your self-respect. When you improve your self-respect, your self-image changes completely. When your self-image changes, your performance changes. Jim Sundberg was a great Major League Baseball catcher. And he used to do a Bill Glass ministry, which was a ministry in the prisons where they went and evangelized and talked about Jesus Christ and the difference that he can make in your life and help the prisoners. And Bill Glass is there with Jim Sundberg, and he asked him during a break, he says, how did you get to be such a great baseball catcher? And Sundberg said, well, I never had a chance. I never had a choice. From the time I was this tall, my dad would say, boy, you're going to be a great baseball player. With that arm, you are going to be the best catcher. Gee, man, you are so good. He said, it never dawned on me that I would be anything but a Major League Baseball player, a catcher. I had been raised to believe, that was the image that I had in my mind. I never saw myself as being anything but a Major League Baseball player. There was an inmate standing close to by, and he said, same thing happened to me. And Bill Glass said, you played Major League Baseball? He said, no. From the time I was this tall, my dad told me I was going to end up in prison. All the people told me I was going to end up in prison. I was never going to amount to anything that I'd end up in prison. Sure enough, here I am. Two different stories, two different outcomes. One positive, one negative. Same concept. Each one of them had a self-portrait painted by other people. Each one performed exactly in accordance with that self-image. You want to change your performance? Change your self-image. Now, there are so many people that will tell you that. You got to have a better self-image. I'm going to tell you how to do it. Improve your self-respect. You improve your self-respect by never quitting. Take the easy jobs, the easy things, and do them right. Don't ever quit. If you got 10 math problems, do all 10 math problems. Every year we started our off season in football. Beginning in 1976. In 1976, I was coaching in San Antonio at Holmes High School, and we had a good football team, but we did not make the playoffs. And Holmes High School had never won a district championship. And so before we began the off season, obviously we sat down as coaches. And we said, what is it that we've got to do to change these kids? Because they do not believe. They don't have enough self-respect. Their self-image is that Holmes is never going to win a championship. They don't have the self-respect for us to win the championship. So what are we going to do? We began what we called a boot camp. Now, our boot camp was very physical. We had the running ropes, and we had the mat agility drills, and we had the jump rope and command weights. It was a very difficult physical exercise. And a lot of kids quit. But the one thing that they gained, every person that went through that boot camp at Holmes High School in 1976 increased their self-respect. Their self-image changed. They started having high expectations. I've told you before, morale. Where do you get morale? Morale comes from when you think you've accomplished something. If you go out on a practice field, if you go to that boot camp every day and you do these mad agility drills and you do these jump ropes and you do these command weights and you do those every day and you finish it, what goes up? Now, your strength may go up a little bit and your cardiovascular goes up a little bit and maybe your agility goes up. But the number one thing that goes up is your self-respect. The second thing that goes up is the morale of the football team. Because I look around and I see all of these guys dying on the mats, but they're still going. They don't quit. And I think, boy, we're going to be good. And all of a sudden, you have these high expectations. And you say, boy, we're really going to be good. And when you go home at night, you really feel good about what you accomplished. Now, boot camp is going to increase your strength a little bit. It's going to increase your cardiovascular. It's going to increase your agility and your quickness. But that's not why you do boot camp. And those people, a lot of people have emulated what we started in 1976, and we did it at Judson. And there's video on YouTube about Judson doing it and Marshall doing it and those people. And it's so impressive, and it's such a physical thing. We used to bring the cheerleaders down and get them to watch it. We used to bring parents in and let them watch it, just so we could have the kids look over there at those kids and they'd be going, you gotta be kidding me. R.C. Slocum came to Marshall one time, the head coach at A&M, and he said, that's the most unbelievable thing I've ever seen in an off season. What were we trying to improve? In Marshall, Texas, at Judson High School, at Holmes High School, the thing that we were going to improve and change was their self-image. Well, needless to say, in 1977, we were the district champions at Holmes High School. Did we get an influx of talent? Did all of a sudden was there a whole lot more athletes there than there had been in the years prior? No. The difference was the self-image. The team's image of themselves. You cannot imagine. I couldn't tell you, and you believe, you would think I'm exaggerating, how many times in tough football games you heard people say, it's not nearly as tough as boot camp. That's it. I had a kid that was a nephrologist, and he was in Kuwait, and they had to be sequestered into a hotel because the Iraqis were trying to shoot doctors. And everybody was complaining about how difficult this was and how torturous it was to stay inside all the time. And Chris Glanton said, I've been through the Maverick Maker. I've done worse than this. We changed the name of boot camp to the Maverick Maker when I went to Marshall. What changed? Not the physical. It's that we changed the self-image. I am too good to lose. I have worked too hard. I have more respect for myself than to quit. I have too much self-respect to lose. I refuse to lose. How do you gain self-respect? Do all 10 math problems. Do those 3 goals this week. Do the things that make you better. You gain respect, self-respect. When you gain self-respect, your expectations are going to go up. See you tomorrow.